Welcome to the Daily Current Affairs by CivicCentre IAS, where we try to discuss the top 10 important topics for the UPSC CSE Prelims for the day from the Hindu, the Indian Express and the PIB. Displayed are the list of topics which we have chosen for today's discussion. The first article of the day says that bolstering the measures to strengthen the measures to particularly combat the generally adverse air quality scenario in winter months in the Delhi NCR region. The Commission for Air Quality Management in NCR and adjoining areas has revised a graded response action plan for the entire NCR. In this context, we'll talk about the Commission for Air Quality Management and then we'll look at the graded response action plan. See, it is a statutory body established by the Government of India to address the air pollution issues and improve air quality in the National Capital Region and adjoining areas. Know that the Commission was created with the aim of formulating and overseeing the implementation of policies, strategies, and actions to control and reduce the air pollution in the region. So, how was this established? See, the CAQM was established in 2021 through the passage of the Commission for Air Quality Management in NCR Region and Adjoining Areas Act of 2021. Notably, it came into existence as a response to the growing concerns over deteriorating air quality, particularly in the Delhi NCR region, which has one of the most polluted air in the world. Now, if we have to look at the key objectives of CAQM, see, firstly, to take proactive and corrective actions to improve air quality in the National Capital Region and adjoining areas. Secondly, to coordinate and harmonize the efforts of various state governments, ministries, and agencies involved in managing the air pollution. Thirdly, to promote research on air quality management and to collect and analyze the data related to air pollution. Then to oversee the implementation of air quality standards and to ensure that these measures taken are effective in curbing pollution. Then next we have to raise awareness among the citizens about the importance of clean air and the measures they can adopt to reduce the pollution. Lastly, the CAQM has overriding authority over other bodies such as the Central Pollution Control Board and the State Pollution Control Boards with its jurisdiction with the aim of ensuring coordinated efforts to tackle pollution. Now, if we have to talk about the Graded Response Action Plan, in short called the GRAP, see, GRAP is a set of emergency measures that kick in to prevent further deterioration of air quality once it reaches a certain threshold in the Delhi NCR region. Notably, it was approved by the Supreme Court in 2016 after the Supreme Court's order in the matter of MC Mehta versus Union of India of 2016, and then it was notified in the year 2017. Now, moving on to talk about its implementation. See, till 2020, the Supreme Court appointed the Environmental Pollution Prevention and Control Authority, used to order states to implement the GRAP measures. Then the EPCA was dissolved and replaced by the Commission for Air Quality Management in 2020. So the CAQM relies on air quality and the meteorological forecasts by the Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology and the Indian Meteorological Department. These are the following stages under the GRAP 4. The second article of the day says that India has pitched at the World Trade Organization for stricter regulations on subsidies granted by countries that are engaged in high seas fishing activities, according to an official. In this context, we'll first talk about WTO. We'll also look at various aspects related to its purpose, the key functions, etc. See, the WTO is the only international organization managing global trade rules with the goal of using trade to improve living standards, create jobs, and promote a sustainable development. Know that the WTO agreements signed by the member states and ratified by their parliaments form the basis for these trade rules. Now, if you have to look at the key functions of the WTO, first one, we'll talk about the Trade Rule Administration. So, it operates a global system of trade rules to help member nations improve their capacity to trade, and it provides a platform for the members to negotiate trade agreements and resolve trade disputes. Then, the overall objective is to leverage trade for higher living standards, better jobs, improved lives. Then, secondly, with respect to the trade negotiations, see, the WTO facilitates negotiations on agreements covering goods, services, and intellectual property. So the recent agreements include the Trade Facilitation Agreement of 2017 and the Fisheries Subsidies Agreement of 2022. Then, with respect to the implementation and monitoring, see, WTO members must take their trade policies transparent, notifying the WTO of any laws and measures in place. Furthermore, Various committees ensure members comply with the WTO agreements and members undergo periodic reviews of their trade practices by both their governments and the WTO Secretariat. Then, with respect to the dispute settlement, see the WTO's dispute settlement understanding resolves trade disputes among the members. Furthermore, independent experts interpret agreements and commitments, ensuring smooth trade flows by enforcing rules. Then, with respect to the capacity building and the developing countries, see, firstly, special provisions for developing countries include extended implementation periods and support for expanding trade opportunities. Furthermore, the WTO provides training and technical support, helping these nations to implement standards and handle disputes. Then, the Aid for the Trade initiative supports developing countries in improving the skills and infrastructure for global trade participation. Then, lastly, with respect to the outreach and cooperation, see the WTO maintains dialogue with the non-governmental organizations, parliamentarians, international organizations, media, and the public to enhance cooperation and increase awareness of these activities. Then, if you have to talk about the membership, see, as of August 30th, 2024, the WTO has 166 members. Also, the organization has observer countries that are in the process of accession. The third article of the day says that the Union Minister of Ports has unveiled a major policy for cargo promotion, which is Jalvahak, for incentivizing improvement of the long-haul cargo via National Waterways 1 on the river Ganga, as well as for the National Waterways 2 on the river Brahmaputra and the National Waterways 16 on the river Barak here today. In this context, we will talk about the key schemes and initiatives with respect to this development. Firstly, we have the Jalvahak Scheme. See, the objective of the Jalvahak Scheme is to promote long-haul cargo movement on the national waterways of 1, 2 and 16 through incentives. Furthermore, to reduce the logistics costs and decongest rail and road networks. Now, if you have to look at the key features under the Jalvahak Scheme, firstly, reimbursement of up to 35% of the total operating expenditure for the cargo movement. Then, which all are eligible? See, for the distance of over 300 kilometers per hour waterways, and it encourages the cargo owners to hire vessels from private operators. Furthermore, the major shipping companies, freight forwarders, trade bodies and associations handling bulk and containerized cargo. Know that the validity initially is for the 3 years and it promotes a supply chain optimization. Then we have fixed day scheduling sailing service, where the objective is to build the confidence and readiness of the waterways for scheduled and efficient cargo transportation. Now, looking at its features, firstly, National Waterway 1, which is on the Ganga River, which takes from Kolkata to Patna, takes for 7 days. Then Patna to Varanasi takes 5 days, and Kolkata to Varanasi takes 14 days. Then we have National Waterway 2 on the Brahmaputra River via IBPR. So, for the Kolkata to Pandu, it takes 18 days, and from Pandu to Kolkata, it takes 15 days. Know that it is operated by ISCL for regular, reliable freight services. Now, what are the major achievements in the inland waterways? Firstly, with respect to the growth in cargo movement, see that in 2013-14, the movement was 18.07 million metric tons, whereas in the 2024, it is 132.89 million metric tons, which is a growth of 700%. If you have to talk about the future targets, the target by 2030 is 200 million metric tons, and by 2047 it is 500 million metric tons, contributing significantly to the vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Furthermore, to achieve 800 million ton kilometers with an investment of 95.4 crores by 2027. So currently waterways handle 4,700 MTK. So these are the key national waterways involved in it. The next article says that the Union government has not included Constitution Amendment Bill on holding the simultaneous elections to the Lok Sabha and assemblies on the revised list of business for Monday, indicating the bill could be delayed. In this context, we'll talk about the One Nation, One Election. See, the simultaneous elections, popularly referred to as One Nation, One Election, means holding elections to the Lok Sabha, all state legislative assemblies, and urban and rural local bodies at the same time. Currently, all these elections are held independently of one another, following timelines dictated by the terms of every individual elected body. Furthermore, the concept of One Nation, One Election envisions a system in which all state and Lok Sabha elections must be held simultaneously. So, this will entail restructuring the Indian election cycle so that the elections to the states and centre coincide. Furthermore, this would imply that the voters will vote for the members of Lok Sabha and the state assemblies on the same day and at the same time, or in a phased manner, as the case may be. So, historically speaking, the first general elections of free India held simultaneously to the Lok Sabha and the legislative assemblies of the states in 1951. The next three cycles of the elections also witnessed concurrent Lok Sabha and legislative assembly elections, barring few stray cases. Some of the other countries where simultaneous elections are conducted are Germany, Japan, Indonesia, the Philippines, and Belgium. The next article says that on a day Delhi saw minimum temperature drop by 4.9 degrees Celsius on Sunday, the air quality index inched closer to very poor category. In this context, we'll talk about the air quality index and then about the Central Pollution Control Board. See, the air quality index in India is a tool designed to provide the public with real-time information about the quality of air in their localities. Furthermore, the air quality index system categorizes the air quality into 6 categories ranging from good, which is 0 to 50, to severe category, which is 400 plus, providing an easily understandable way to access the impact of the pollution on health. So good amounts to 0 to 50, satisfactory means 51 to 100, moderate is 101 to 200, poor is 201 to 300, very poor is 301 to 400, and severe is 401 to 500. Furthermore, the air quality index is based on the concentration of 8 key pollutants, which are the PM10, PM2.5, nitrogen dioxide, ozone, sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxide, ammonia, and lead. Know that each pollutant's concentration is converted into a numerical scale that reflects its health impact, and the pollutant with the highest score determines the overall air quality index for that location. Moving on to talk about the Central Pollution Control Board, in short called the CPCB. See, it was constituted in September 1974 under the Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act of 1974. Furthermore, the CPCB was entrusted with the powers and functions under the Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act of 1981. Also, it serves as a field formation and also provides technical services to the Ministry of Environment and Forests of the provisions of the Environment Protection Act of 1986. Now, what are the principal functions of CPCB? See, firstly, to promote cleanliness of streams and wells in different areas of the states by prevention, control, and abatement of water pollution. Secondly, to improve the quality of air and to prevent the control or abate air pollution in the country. See, one of the key initiatives is the National Air Quality Monitoring Program, which aims to track the air quality status and its trends across India. The next article says that the Supreme Court on Monday heard a PIL stating that the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act of 2013, in short called the PoSH Act, should apply to all political parties. In this context, we'll talk about the PoSH Act of 2013. See, the PoSH Act is a legislation enacted by the Government of India in 2013 to address the issue of sexual harassment faced by women in the workplace. Significantly, the Act aims to create a safe and conducive work environment for women and provide protection against sexual harassment. Notably, the PoSH Act defines sexual harassment to include unwelcome acts such as physical contact and sexual advances, a demand or request for sexual favors, making sexually colored remarks, showing pornography, and any other unwelcome physical, verbal, or non-verbal conduct of any sexual nature. Now, what is the background to it? See, the Supreme Court in a landmark judgment in Vishaka and others versus State of Rajasthan 1997 case gave Vishaka guidelines. Know that these guidelines form the basis for the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Act of 2013. Now, if we have to look at the key provisions of the Act, see, firstly, it defines sexual harassment to include unwelcome acts such as physical, verbal or non-verbal conduct, a demand or request for sexual favors, making sexually colored remarks, showing pornography, etc. Also, it lists down 5 circumstances that would constitute to sexual harassment, which are the following. Furthermore, it defines an employee, means all women employees, whether employed regularly, temporarily, contractually, on an ad hoc or daily wage basis, as apprentices or interns, can seek redressal to sexual harassment in the workplace. Also, it expands the definition of workplace to beyond traditional offices to include all kinds of organizations across sectors and even the non-traditional workplaces and places visited by employees for work. Next article says that Lok Sabha Speaker Shri Om Birla today urged the members of parliament to make a TB Mukt Bharat and Nasha Mukt Bharat campaigns a Jan Andolan and develop the spirit of healthy competition among themselves to make India free from tuberculosis disease by 2025. In this context, we'll briefly look at the tuberculosis, and then we'll talk about the progress towards TB elimination goals. See, tuberculosis is an infectious disease that is most often affects the lungs and is caused by a type of bacteria. Know that it spreads through the air when infected people cough, sneeze or spit. Know that the tuberculosis is both preventable and curable. But about a quarter of the global population is estimated to have affected with TB bacteria. Now, if you have to look at the common symptoms of TB, they include a prolonged cough, chest pain, weakness, fatigue, weight loss, fever, night sweats, etc. Also, the symptoms people get depend on where the body TB becomes active. So, while TB usually affects the lungs, it also affects the kidneys, brain, spine, and skin. Now, if you have to look at the progress towards the TB elimination goals, firstly, with respect to the global efforts, the WHO has launched a joint initiative which is the Find, Treat, All End TB with the Global Fund and Stop TB Partnership. Furthermore, WHO releases the Global Tuberculosis Report. Moving on to talk about India's efforts. See, India launched a Pradhan Mantri TB Mukt Abhiyan, National Strategic Plan for Tuberculosis Elimination 2017 to 25, then TB Harega Desh Jeetega campaign, and lastly Nikshay Poshan portal. Significantly, India aims to eliminate TB by 2025, 5 years ahead of the global target. Then we have something called the National Tuberculosis Elimination Program, where it is a key initiative under the National Health Mission aimed at achieving a TB-free India by 2025. Also, it is aligned with the National Strategic Plan for TB Elimination, and the program emphasizes early diagnosis, prevention, patient support, and cross-sector partnerships. The last article of the day says that Justice Shekhar Kumar Yadav, who allegedly made controversial statements at a Vishwa Hindu Parishad function, is likely to appear before the Supreme Court Collegium soon to explain his stand on controversy. In this context, we'll talk about the impeachment of judges. See, a judge may be removed from office through a motion adopted by Parliament on the grounds of proven misbehavior or incapacity. So, while the Constitution does not use the word impeachment, it is colloquially used to refer to the proceedings under Article 124 for the removal of the Supreme Court judge and Article 218 for the removal of the High Court judge. So, under Article 124 Clause 4, a judge can be removed by the Parliament through a laid down procedure on only two grounds, which are the proven misbehavior and incapacity. Furthermore, the Constitution provides that a judge can be removed only by an order of the President based on a motion passed by both the houses of the Parliament. Also, the procedure for the removal of judges is elaborated in the Judges Enquiry Act of 1968. Significantly, the Act sets out the following steps for the removal of judge from the office. So, firstly, what are the grounds for removal? See, alongside the constitutional provisions, the Judges Enquiry Act of 1968 defines the grounds on which a judge can face impeachment, such as misuse of office, grave offences undermining a judge's integrity, or any contravention of the Constitution's provisions. Secondly, the process begins with a signed motion by 100 members of Lok Sabha or 50 members of Rajya Sabha, which is submitted to the Speaker or Chairman respectively, as provided under the Judges Enquiry Act of 1968. Then, if the motion is admitted, the Speaker or the Chairman who receives it will constitute a 3-member committee that will investigate the complaint. So, this committee will comprise of a Supreme Court judge, a Chief Justice of a High Court, and a distinguished jurist. Know that the committee will frame charges based on which the investigation will be conducted. Then a copy of charges will be forwarded to the judge who can present a written defense. Then what about the inquiry and the report? See, this committee will carry out an in-depth inquiry into the allegations, and post-investigation, a report is presented to the Speaker or the Chairman outlining their findings. Then, what is the parliamentary process for it? So, if the committee deems the judge guilty, both houses of the Parliament can then discuss the motion. Then, for the motion to pass, it needs a special majority, which means a majority of the total membership of the House and a majority of at least 2/3 of the members of that House present and voting. Then, on successful passage in both the houses, the motion is presented to the President as per Article 124 Clause 4, leading to the removal of the judge. So, in this video, we have discussed 8 articles in total for today. We'll be back again with another video tomorrow. Thank you.